AI ads. Let's do that again so we can get this, on the move. Pinterest AI ads. Imagine Google images for your brand. Welcome to the Marketing Club. Happy October, by the way. I wanted to say that, first of all, because I want to make sure that we are all here today. We're all connected. And this is the first room I've done this month. So, welcome to the space. Welcome to the room. And I'm excited. I'm really, really excited about this room today because there's something that I want us to look at, which is very interesting, which is something I'm very excited about, especially if you're thinking about Pinterest for advertising. And for me, I think when I start being very in sync with the thoughts and the processes and what people need and what people want, what people are asking for, then I pay more attention to those things because if I'm able to help one person, then that's one more person I've been able to connect with to get closer to their goal. So Pinterest is incorporating AI, and I'm so excited about this. Like, you guys have no idea how excited I am about this. They actually had a Pinterest Presents yesterday. So they had a whole thing going on yesterday. And that was something that was very, 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 very exciting to see because I looked through it and I was watching it. And all I could think about was how beautiful Pinterest has become when it comes to advertising and using it for actually connecting with the right people online, right? These are the things that you have to think about, as a business and also learn how, you can show up for the communities that you're serving. So this is very, very exciting. This is very, very exciting. So Pinterest has incorporated AI into their mix. I knew it was coming. It was really there, but I think it's even more evident now. And they've been using it for, pretty much the next big thing when it comes to competition with Canva, competition with what are these other platforms? I'm trying to remember this name. Uh, if I get it, I'll let you guys know. There's another platform. Yeah, got it. Visme. Yeah, Visme. Those are platforms that are very high tech. Of course, Adobe is there. These are high tech apps, platforms, softwares, image generation platforms that you can use. But imagine using AI with Pinterest. It's a whole game changer. Like, you have no idea. I'm going to be showing you how these things work in the workshop. So please click the link above. When you click the link above, it will take you to where you can leave your contact information. You get exclusive updates. You're going to get an email with the schedule for the whole month of October so that you can know which workshops you want to come to, which ones you want to be at. Yesterday, we had one for podcasting, which was very intense. I showed people the history of podcasts, where it started from, what was the actual word before it was called a podcast, how did it transcend onto where it is now, and how you can actually use it to become the person that people come to, when they're looking for information on the web. So, we think about blogs, but podcasts are audio blogs. They're termed as podcasts, but the foundation is audio blog. The foundation is audio page, right? It's audio web. It's audio internet. So if you're creating images for your brand, then that image would have a color, right? It would have a specific tone, it would have a specific palette. So when you're using it on Pinterest, it's a whole different game. And I'm going to show you how this works because right now they introduced something called, let me just tell you guys what it's called. It's called Performance Plus Ads. Performance Plus ads are very creative ads that are incorporated with AI. Right now, they're in beta, right? And I want to share the link in the chat with you so that you guys can see this. Let me copy to my clipboard. I'm on my computer, paste it on my phone. Boom, there you go. All right, so that's the link. Click that link, read it, fold through it, see, just figure out what works for you, because Performance Plus has now, what they said is that they've bundled Pinterest automation and AI features to simplify campaign creation and boost campaigns and maximize ad impressions. Now, that keyword that I'm looking at is the last two words of that sentence: ad impressions. When you think about advertising, the key metrics for your advertisement to actually take off the ground and get stable at any capacity, whether you're running ads on a billboard, running ads on Facebook, running ads on Pinterest, running ads on LinkedIn, both organically and paid, one of the social currencies on the web that most people ignore, which is so underrated, but this is the most valuable thing that is actually going to contribute to your conversion based on the capacity that you're attaining, looking at the community that you're actually serving with the link that you're providing. And that is impressions. Impressions, impressions, impressions. If you don't give the right impression to the right person is not going to connect with you because you're giving the wrong impression. The wrong impression cannot connect to the right person because the right person needs the right impression to respond, right? Wrong impressions, that just leads to wrong people not being part of what you're doing. So when you have positive impressions, when you have 2 million impressions, you know what that means? 2 million impressions. Let me explain this. Impressions means that you are in my view. You know how many cars you drive in a day or how many cars you see in a day? You see a lot of cars in a day. Not every car that you see driving is a car you're going to remember. Do you remember the car that drove next to you, when you were at a stoplight 2 weeks ago? You might not remember that, right? But you're going to remember the car that looked nice and was shiny, or it had something going on, or something happened, or it said something on the sticker, because that had something of an impression. It made an impression. So it's in your view. You can see a lot of cars in your view when you're walking in the streets. You can see a lot of people. It's in your view when you're in a networking conference. There's a lot of people in your view. We're on Clubhouse. We're here. Some of us we're in view, right? So when you think about being in view, when it comes to having an impression, the value that you're exchanging is giving people information they can actually connect with, right? Long term. Because when you connect with people online, you're creating impressions. It was impressions that began the conversation. If I'm impressed, ooh, nice shoes, nice hair, you smell good, I like your profile, well done. Thank you for your service. Appreciate you. You know, God bless you. Like you, when you start saying things like that, people are like, huh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like yesterday, I was talking to one of my teammates and I was just telling her, hey, happy October. She's like, thank you. I was like, and then she's like, Favor, no one has told me that all day. And I was like, what? Happy October, like happy new month. Like she hasn't heard that from anyone all day. So that just made me think, okay, when you say good morning to somebody, when you say hello, I appreciate you, those words are seeds you're planting into someone's, vocabulary, if I can really say it like that, because they're listening to you and they're also hearing you, right? When we grow, when we're kids, we grow, we build, we learn, we understand, we get to reason. And then the more reasoning we can do by ourselves, the more we can articulate and make informed decisions based off impressions that we make. If I have a lasting impression of you, right, that impression is going to last a while. So how are you going to use impressions to also speed up your connections, right? And one way you can do that is by looking through your communication system. So Performance Plus in the ads manager, right, is for consideration, conversion, and catalog sales objectives. Now, these objectives allow you to have creative performances where you can actually have the option of using AI, right? Using AI to generate image backgrounds. So, for example, let me see, like Latonya, for example, I see you have Afrocentric jewelry. Let me give you a follow. Thanks for being here. Now, you have Afrocentric jewelry, right? And let's say you want to do a photo shoot. Now, the photo shoot requires lighting, it requires cost, like it just has a lot of operating costs, right? And then you have to schedule. You have to drive there, or you can do it at home, or you can do it somewhere, but you also have to have the right equipment. Now, when you publish that on your website, right? Because we build websites. So I'm thinking SEO now. When you use that product image to show that this is the image that's going to be the product you're going to buy, that image needs to also really look good for someone to see it. So we're thinking about Google Images, we're thinking about Pinterest, and we're thinking about AI. So that's how I'll break it down. With AI, if you take a picture, let's say you take a picture of, let's say, the jewelry, and you take it, maybe on top of a marble table, or maybe you're holding it, or maybe it's placed somewhere, or it's a bundle. Now, when you take a picture and you upload it to Pinterest, what happens is it will take the background, and it will you can prompt it and say, I want this to match the background, and put it in a place where it feels like, in a more Afrocentric, scene, because that's what you're looking for as a theme to set the mood for the product, for the experience. So you're now creating a mood. Welcome, Tarika. You're having a mood that is created with AI involved, right? And I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, because if you create content and then you're using the AI generated image background from Pinterest to replace your background, good morning, to replace your background and use your background, right? And replace it with an AI image that is realistic, because they're going to give you a realistic image and you're going to use this for ads. So by the time you're running it, if somebody likes cheetah prints, or if people like African prints, or if people like, like maybe patterns, or they like stripes, or they like, polka dots, those are the things that the AI is going to start detecting, and then creating like images, like three different images with the same product, but having three different backgrounds to serve three different audiences. And then from there, the AI now tells you, okay, these are the people who you're connecting with. Let's focus on these things. So you're not even spending money on impressions. You're spending money on performance, right? I'm not able to actually join the conversation. No problem. But I hope this is helping. I'll just give you an example, because those are the things that you can definitely do, to enhance your business and enhance your brand, right? Okay, thank you. So when you simplify your targeting options by maximizing performance, it allows you to even focus on what is important is the community. And this thing is in beta. So if you click the link in the chat, you're going to see the very first link I put there is a link to the article, because I was at the event yesterday. I wanted to live stream it here, But I said, nah, it's going to be too random. Let me chill. So I decided to do that. And that's when I said, okay, let me come back tomorrow and give you guys an update. But it's crazy how they use generative AI to apply backgrounds for your product images, and that will help drive user inspiration and engagement. You know what that means? User inspiration means impressions. Welcome, D. User impressions and user inspirations are big factors for engagement, because if I can impress more people, that means more people will be engaged, more people will be inspired, more people will be thrilled, more people will be, undivided attention based, right? So they're able to actually connect with this faster, right, than just connecting with it because it's a landing page, or because it's just an image, or it's just a product. So with Pinterest and AI, now you have performance plus, campaigns, pretty much like this learning mode. Then you have performance plus consideration campaigns. You have performance plus conversion campaigns. You have performance plus catalog campaigns. So I saw what they did yesterday, which was so cool. If you're on Pinterest, because people go on Pinterest to plan, people go on Pinterest to purchase, people go on Pinterest to have interest, and it's a whole. Let me actually put it this way: I was 2 years old when I found out that Pinterest just has a P, but the word is actually interest. It just has a P on it, right? It's interest. It's called Pinterest, but it's actually interest. What are you interested in? And interest leads to impressions. So let's not complicate the system, right? Impressions are factors. That's why even with Google Search Console, with Microsoft, Bing, with any platform that you're using, you're always going to see impressions. Instagram, TikTok, you're going to see how many impressions do I have. LinkedIn, you're going to see impressions. Impressions. that's the key metric, Tarika. Impressions. If I'm not impressed, I'm not engaged. If I'm not engaged, I'm not buying. That's the simple formula. Like, it doesn't get easier than that, right? So if you are engaged in a conversation and Pinterest is showing you an image of an ad, let's say you're trying to look for gifts for Christmas, for example, and you're trying to find gifts for Christmas for your friend, right? And you say, okay, I know my friend is gonna like this perfume. She likes this one or he likes this one, and you're gonna say, okay, let me put a deal on this. So Pinterest allows you to put a performance campaign where you can put a coupon for the person who is thinking about that. So they're typing perfume ideas or looking for a specific, type of brand, right? Sometimes they may look for brands, sometimes they may just look for like sweet scents or lavender scented perfumes. People search like that because Pinterest is a place for discovery, right? So when you discover something, you become interested in that, right? If you're in the woods and you discover something, you're going to be interested and you're going to keep going in, you're going to keep digging, you're going to keep figuring out, okay, how do I get to this? It's like a clue, it becomes a treasure hunt, right? So you're creating your brand on Pinterest, but what you're doing, I can say invertedly, is you're showing up on Google Images. Why? Because your Pinterest business account, because there are two types of accounts on Pinterest. There's a Pinterest personal account and a Pinterest business account. So when you have a Pinterest business account, the business account is where it allows you to claim your website, and you can have 100% credit attributed to your domain because you've claimed your Pinterest account, and you've added the tracking code into your head element on your website. So when you create that for your business and you were showing up on Pinterest, you're creating a lot of connections. Let me tell you how big this is. Anytime I post on Instagram, I automatically push to Pinterest. So I don't have to post on Pinterest Like, think about that. Like, I post once on Instagram, it automatically goes to Pinterest. Welcome, Dr. Francine and Yusuf. Literally, literally, that it's a beautiful thing to look at. I'm like, wow. You just click here, publish, it's on the other side. Same thing with podcast. You publish once, it's in 30 different domains. It's on apple.com, it's on spotify.com, it's on iheart.com, it's on, you know, uh, there's so many, listennotes.com. If you have a local business, you're on Yelp, you're on Alexa. My podcast now is being listened to on Alexa, about 3.6%. So I'm like, okay, it makes sense because the podcast, people are asking questions and there's a website that actually tracks it back. If I didn't have a website for my podcast, I don't think Alexa would recommend me to anybody. That because Alexa is going to look for a citation. So what citation do you have online that Alexa can connect to? They're going to say according to apple.com. It's not going to say according to your website.com because you don't have a citation. You don't have a web page for your podcast, for your for anything regarding that, traffic you're trying to attain. So it's big. Tarika asked, do you have a tutorial claiming your domain on Pinterest? Yes, I do. I do have a course on Pinterest, and it has everything there. I have a bonus that talks about the whole setup because when you claim your domain on Pinterest, after you claim it, you now have to start tracking it, and you have to start tracking it with heat maps. So it's not like a break fix. So there's a whole formula to it. But yes, there's a pathway, and I'm going to be doing a Pinterest workshop. So I'm going to be handling that. So if you're interested, if you're excited, I would love to have you there. Please click the link above and just click on Pinterest, and you'll get an email with the schedule, and you'll be able to see the one that we're going to have for Pinterest this month. So I'm going to be covering these things because I can talk about it on Clubhouse and explain myself and say it, but I want you to see it. I want you to see it. We're going to be doing it for 90 minutes. 90 minutes feels so long, but it really is short. By the time I'm done, I'm like, there's still more I want to show you. We had one yesterday, which was really, really good. So it's really exciting to see this because if you can claim your stuff online, you're going to do less work in the future. Why am I saying less work? Because you've laid the foundation in the beginning. When you lay the foundation and you answer questions, you're not going to be answering questions forever. Honestly, if you have a business in an industry and you haven't answered all the questions that pertain to the business's attribution model when it comes to informational, navigational, commercial, and transactional keywording, then you've not really laid the foundation for your website. Because a lot of us have websites, but if I go to the back end of your website and look at your sitemap, I don't see anything that's talking about your business in the URL. That's the first place I go to. If I go to the library and I'm looking for a book starting with B, I'm going to have to go to the B section, to get that. So if you're creating content for people, then if you also want to run ads on Pinterest, then you want to make sure that you're running ads for performance because high performance equals to high impressions. So if I have more impressions with higher performances, it means I'm spending less money because I'm paying for performance. I'm not paying for impressions. So I can get 1 million impressions and not everyone is performing well. So now my impressions is where I'm leveraging my equity. That's the beautiful thing about Pinterest. So you can literally raise your sales lift because you can use Pinterest as a cornerstone for your business. And why is this so important? Because when you start running ads on any other platform, for the simple fact that you have your Pinterest connected to your website, that means your domain is connected to the server, to the algorithm. It means your website is also indexed through Google. Then it means that your domain is justified. It's something that actually shows that you have authority online. Why? Because when you run an ad, right, if you ever run an ad, you're always going to run an ad and you're going to send people to your website. 9 times out of 10, you would send people to your domain, your landing page. You're not going to send somebody to a YouTube. That's just wasting money. You want to send people to, you're spending money to collect data. That's the thing about advertising. You're spending money to collect data. You're not spending money, yeah, spend money to make money, but spend money to collect data so that when you spend money again, you don't have to waste money. That's the difference. So when you're using AI ads now with Pinterest, you're now being more skillful with your targeting. So if I know that my top audience is focusing on this region or that region, it works. Now we do billboard advertising for companies. So we make sure that your billboard, the billboard that you're using for digital is in a location that actually has the right people that actually need your service. Because we have to go into keyword research. We have to go into SEO. It's not just, oh, there's a billboard next door. No, we have to make sure that that billboard is making sense and is also making sense for you because those are paid impressions. If you're on the screen in the middle of traffic for 6 seconds in a 60 second cycle, and you're doing that for 5 hours in a day, reaching about 3,500 people an hour, how many people are going to be impressed about what you're showing them for 5 seconds? Does it make sense? Is it something that's going to empower them? Because that comes into branding, right? Because we're talking about image. Imagine Google Images for your brand. So it's branding. If I see something on a billboard, I want to see the same thing on your website. I want to see the same thing on your email list. Like I want to see the same. I don't want to see two things because now I'm confused. Is this the same brand? Is it the same person? Because you don't want that question to be the first question when someone new wants to interact with you. So you have to think about those big things because those are the major things that would, change your expressions, right? And that is the beginning of how you are able to really, create your business, and create it in a way that is not just for, you know, just business purpose, but has a purpose to actually serve others, right? So these are the things that you have to, really think about when you're thinking about AI for your ads. So even when it comes to the performance, the budget, right? Performance Plus uses lifetime and average daily budgets only. There's no budget limit per campaign. So what this Performance Plus is doing on Pinterest is that, welcome Nikki, it's not it's not just giving you like AI images. On top of that, it's using AI. Good morning. It's using AI to figure out which audience, because Pinterest already has an algorithm called Pixie, right? Pixie. So Pixie already has its own algorithm going on Pinterest before AI. So now with integrated artificial intelligence, that activates a huge thing because now you have a way to use an average daily budget, and AI is really connecting with the people on the back end, trying to figure out, okay, which image background works better for this audience, which message sounds better, what makes sense for them, what do they think about? Because when you're writing titles, right? When you're making titles, whether it's a podcast title, an email, a TikTok, whatever title you're creating, a book, that title has to have three things. Three things. The first thing is that that title needs to have, number one, good readability. Readability, meaning that if I can read this sentence and I can say it to a 5-year-old, the 5-year-old is not going to get confused. It's simple, it's straightforward, it's to the point, right? The second thing is that it needs to have sentimental value. Does it make you happy? Does it make you unhappy? Right? what are you trying to drive? What emotion are you trying to drive? Because if it doesn't drive emotion, I don't know. Because there's emotional. We talked about this some time back. Logical, psychological, and emotional. When it comes to SEO and connecting with your audience. So think about that second option. How do you think about the sentimental value? Three ways to boost your traffic. Using SEO, or rather, I would say save time online by writing with AI. It sounds more revealing or more relaxing, right? Welcome, D. Good morning. You have those layers, and you're able to see, okay, these are the things that would give you, more intentionality when you're connecting with these people. Because if you're activating and you're connecting with them as a brand, it's showing up online because you have something to connect with them, right? If you have a brand online, then your brand has a message. And what is your message, right? Pinterest yesterday, they had a commercial. They had like little splashes of commercials in their presentation, which was really cool. How it started and how it ended, and they showed a lot of different things. And one of the things that really caught my attention was how they are using AI now on Pinterest to identify the audiences that are particular on color. So color is like a big factor for conversions. Color, like, it's huge. So if the color is off, if the color is wrong, it's different. Yeah, Nikki says, "Oh, wow, I'm running ads on Pinterest now, $10 daily." I would love to know how that's going for you, because those can be, different ways you're connecting with audiences, and it also depends on the campaign that you're using. I don't know if it's a brand awareness campaign or consideration campaign or conversion campaign or a catalog sale campaign. And in each of those campaigns, there's also video campaigns too. All of them have their own attributes. But right now, when you're using Pinterest, now let me put it this way. When you're using Pinterest and you're running ads to places that will connect with your brand. And most times we don't want to run ads just because we want to open it up, right? We want to run ads based on information we already have. So if we look at our analytics and we look at our connections and we see that these connections are actually contributing to, sales, contributing to, people inquiring more information, then that's where Pinterest comes in, because Pinterest is a place of discovery. So if I'm going to discover your brand organically, it means that you showed up in a search filter that matched my search intent. And that was an organic connection. Like if I met you on the road, or we met in the street, or we sat next to each other on the train, that was organic. Nobody put us together. We organically met, right? So that is, I'll call that zero party data, because now it's like me and you, we just met, so let's connect. If we do connect and exchange numbers, then that connection has interest in the party. There are two parties involved, right? Her party and his party, right? So those two have to connect so that those two either align or misalign. If it misaligns, then that's not meant to be. If it aligns, then great, right? And that factors in everything: friendships, relationships. So when you're building those relationships with people, think about those things. The third one is SEO for sure, because SEO also works with pixels. I've talked about this before. Pixels, pixels, pixels. There are two things that you cannot live without online when it comes to social media, SEO, or just search online. Let me just say the internet. Two things, actually three. I thought about the third one. Three that you can't live without. Three things. One, the algorithm. Two, impressions, right? And when you think about impressions, specifically, where are the key factors that you're connecting with? Who are the people that you're connecting with those impressions? And if those impressions actually count, then welcome, Nikki. And you know when the when you get those impressions, right? Those impressions are big values that you can't miss. So when you're looking at the impressions are going to lead to your third thing. And that third thing is the value that of the exchange, right? The value of the exchange. You know, we think about currency exchange, it's social currency exchange. Because I can say something that you may not like. I may say something you might like. You might say something I may not like. You might say something I might like. So we don't know what's going to happen. But the exchange is where the value comes in, because that value is coming in because now I'm interested in the algorithm is there. I'm impressed. And now what's the exchange of value for my time, right? Is it, am I going to read more? Am I going to scroll more? Am I going to click more? Or am I going to leave? Those are the things you have to think about: the algorithm, the impressions, and the exchange. The algorithm, the impressions, and the exchange. Because the exchange is big. The algorithm is where everything is set up. That's the foundation, right? Then the impressions is like, okay, am I impressed with this thing? Hey, Margin, welcome. Long time. Thanks for being here. So the exchange is, what is that next exchange gonna come from? So, it has to build into those things. Nikki, we'd love to hear from you. How is it going on Pinterest for you?
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm great.
It's going good. I've been running ads a couple months. They reached out to me actually because I get a lot of hits from my boards. So I have like a rep that I meet with every 2 weeks, and we go over the analytics and everything. So like I'm running $10 a day, $300 a month. I get like maybe it's been like 6 or 7 conversions, but then I'm also getting a lot of leads through, excuse me, through my pop-ups as well. So I guess it's going good.
That's good. That's good. Are you doing brand awareness, conversion campaigns, or consideration?
Um, I'm doing conversion campaigns. At first, we did the brand awareness, and I was just getting a lot of traffic. And then he just switched it up, but now they keep switching reps. So like every other day I get an email saying, "Oh, you have a new rep." But I basically meet with my rep like every 2 weeks on a Friday, and we just go over everything. And if I want to switch out my graphics or things like that, so it's going really good. I get a lot of traffic to my Pinterest boards.
That's good. That's good. And those are the earned impressions that you're seeing, right? Because it's like you're creating the cycles of, where people are connecting with you, and organically that goes into your first party data, because you can run lead ads on Pinterest. And because you're also doing conversions, you're also getting those conversions through by connecting with them online through, experiences. And like that's what I was talking about earlier, the algorithm, because the algorithm is different. And if the person, I know they keep changing reps because I've had the same experience too. Um, but when you look at the campaigns you're running and switching them up also would be really good, because right now with the Performance Plus, I don't know if you've heard about it, but it's in beta right now. I have access to it. So I don't know who else does, but this is something that, I've been seeing over time. And when I went to their meeting yesterday for the Pinterest Presents keynote, I now knew that, okay, this is actually something I need to bring back to Clubhouse, because a lot of people are sleeping on Pinterest and I need to wake it up again. So just from yesterday's, I saw that, I was like, yeah, you guys need to tap into this. That's why I've even started creating workshops for this too. So using Performance Plus ads yet, campaigns? Let me just actually ask this specifically. Are you using Performance Plus conversion campaigns?
You know what? Actually, I don't know because I have my pins created, and then when I meet with the rep, he'll like plug everything in for me, and I'm just like on a Zoom call or it's like a Google Meets with him, and he does everything. So I have to like check the back end. I don't really pay a lot of attention. I need to understand it more. Like they just told me like I need to make my pins for Christmas. So they try to make me stay ahead of the holidays and stuff like that. So I definitely need to check into that.
Awesome. Yeah, that would be a big one. They just announced it yesterday. So, yeah, I'm sure that'll come in late in the conversation. Okay, that's good. I'm glad someone here is also talking about Pinterest. I'm not the only one. It's good to hear that. Hey, Julie, good morning. Welcome to the room.
Hey guys, wait, I have to make sure that I'm following Nikki. Following her, make her now with those like little blue right now. So, um, sorry, I'm getting the red bar. Can you hear me?
We didn't hear what you were saying. It was breaking.
Oh, why do I get the red bar every time? Hang on, just 1 second. 1 minute. Just gosh almighty.
You sound clear now. Nothing is breaking.
Oh, okay, okay. Sorry, like I just get the red bar, and it's so weird. But I just said I was following Nikki. Clubhouse is making it so easy with like those little blue things on our pictures to follow people or to friend people. So I love talking about Pinterest. So if we want to talk about Pinterest, I'm all in. Pinterest AI, I have no idea about that, but I love Pinterest. I think Pinterest ads are amazing. It gets pretty immediate clicks in terms of people are just in that discoverability phase, which I love. If you think about your user behavior when you're using Pinterest, you're looking for something specific, a recipe, inspiration, clothes, ideas, business ideas, and you click it's they make it so easy to click to your website. So I love Pinterest. I'm a Pinterest junkie.
I love it. I love it. And your time on Pinterest, too, if I ask this, when you're on Pinterest, what is like as you're going into the app, what is your discover mentality like? Are you excited about getting into seeing something that you didn't plan to?
Yes, it's addicting actually. It's like totally like instant gratification platform, don't you think?
Yeah, it is. It makes you think out the box too.
Yeah, I mean, it gives me so many ideas. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Why do I usually go there? I usually go there to get recipes. Big number one. Like, that's my number one thing because I'm always like, what am I going to cook for dinner tonight? But I also go there. I'm going there for conference ideas, like to get design ideas for my conference next year. So that is a huge thing. It's a real place to get ideas. So you have to know the audience. And I believe 80% of the users of Pinterest are women, which I also, when I do make pins, I curate it mostly to women. And what are they looking for? So, and it has to be really like visually appealing because it is what do they call it? What is it called when you're like in the checkout line and it's an impulse buy? There's a word for it. I'm losing my words right now. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's point of sale, I think maybe. I'm not sure. Where you just like buy it because it's visually appealing
Yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
you
Or
said it, the impulse buyer.
yeah. So impulse buyers, I think, are what Pinterest really is great at because you're like, oh, I need a recipe. Oh, I need inspiration. I need ideas for decorating my house, or I need an outfit idea, or I want to build a business and I'm looking for tips and tricks or a blog. I think blogs are a great place to house your house on Pinterest. So that's how I use Pinterest, at least from not only consumer but content creators standpoint.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's a good one. Thank you, Julie. Yeah, it definitely there's definitely a whole new fix to it. And, just by the way they've created, connections and where that is taking people to, it gets more personalized. It gets more actualized. You're creating more connections with people on Pinterest more than before because you're now actually connecting with the people who are interested in your product. Now, they didn't find your brand, they found your product, meaning that they search for something that your product provides as a service to help them. So it's such a new twist to the tale. And using Performance Plus now, I believe, is going to be one of those things that will definitely help. And what they've done with Performance Plus, the color is like a purple. It has like a little purple icon. It's really nice. It's really, really nice how they've been able to do it. So it like has like a little glow on it, and it just allows you to see like the performance bidding, the URL parameters. So it's very like it stands out really, really strong. So if you're thinking about Pinterest for 2025, this is definitely the time to, actually think about it and use it for your good. Use it for the things that you want to, connect with. Because the people you're connecting with long term are people who are going to, they're going to learn from me. They're going to see, okay, is this how you do business? Okay, is this how you're online? Okay, is this how you show up? And those metrics are going to be so good for you, because you're not just thinking about the long term. You're thinking about the people connecting with you after your post has even been mentioned a year or two later, right? So 5 years later, 10 years later, there are posts I find on Pinterest that are like 2013. I'm like, this is 2024. So it's like you're just saving them and you're putting them into like libraries online that people can actually thrive. Your Instagram posts, your LinkedIn posts, your YouTube posts, your blog posts, you're putting them on Pinterest. So it's pretty much like a storage unit, if I can put it that way. But it's a great place for people to discover you. Even running ads by zip code is amazing, because if you run ads by zip code, you save more money. So if you're running Pinterest ads by zip code and you're running digital billboards by zip code, you're not spending too much because you're focusing on the exact people that you're connecting with, because those are the people who have been searching for those products and services all along. The reason why ads get expensive, or why ads are expensive, is because you're using the money to train the algorithm, or to work the algorithm so it can actually find the best match. That's the goal. You're spending, if it's cost per lead, cost per result, cost per click, you're trying to reduce it so that you can get the best match. That's the whole point of advertising. So if the best match is already found, and you're connecting with the best matches, you don't have to spend more money to match with the people who you're already matching with. So it kind of cuts out the whole process of who is my audience. Your audience, you already know them, you know where they are, and you wanted to do it. So I wanted to do zip code marketing because I offer. There we go. So tell me about that, Nikki. What is your vision?
Well, my vision is right now, like, so I offer hair delivery. So people find me on Google because I'm in Michigan, Macomb County. So people will find me, I guess, if they search hair bundles, wigs, whatever. They'll call me because I get a lot of last minute people. So I have a warehouse, so I have tons of hair extensions. So they'll call me. Say, for instance, I got somebody that called me the other day. She was texting my business line at 11 o'clock at night. I need hair, I need hair. And when I woke up, I saw it. She's like, I have a hair appointment, I need hair. So basically, I'm able, it's not actually DoorDash, it's another courier service. I just say DoorDash because it's like DoorDash. And I package up the hair, they pay for the hair. I package up the hair, and then I have the hair delivered to them for a fee. So I was thinking about doing the zip code marketing. I was going to use a company, is it Postcard Mania? So I'm just still researching because I know the post office does it as well. So I don't know. Do you have any ideas?
Uh-uh. Yes. I Postcard Mania, I've heard about them. I've worked with them. Great people, but I feel like what they're focusing on is not the consumer's satisfaction. It's more of like an acquisition, if that makes sense. And I love their business. I love their, how they conduct it. They're very, strong with their marketing. That's the word I can use. But I did some analysis because I remember I was working with a fintech company and they were trying to do the same thing for like, every door mail, and I'm like, this is cool. There's a way you can do it. I think also USPS has their own system that allows you to do it for businesses. So I've been looking through this zip code marketing for about, I would say, the last probably 3 years, just actively like grinding on understanding how does zip code marketing work. And it was this year that I figured it out. And I realized, and how I figured it out is when I actually ended up getting the home where I'm living now, because I use zip code marketing to understand the audience and understand the demographics, understand the neighborhood. Like I did detailed research up until like schools, and I didn't even realize it, but as I was researching, where I'm staying is like the second best place to live when it comes to new developments. Like there are new roads. I'm literally watching roads being built in front of my eyes. I'm like, okay, this is how you build a road from literally like sand all the way to gravel, to the paint. Like I'm watching houses built. I'm like, this is intense. So I'm seeing these things and I'm like, okay, zip code marketing, let's go. So now I'm looking at it deeper, because companies use it as geofencing. That's what they mostly say, or geolocations, geotargeting. But if you're able to know that this zip code, like for you now, Nikki, you're dealing with hair. That means you're looking for people who are in zip codes that could be close to beauty supply stores, that could be close to, let's say makeup stores, that could be close to hair stores, like, supply stores that help enhance or help, make sure that you're good, right? So they wouldn't necessarily live close by, but they will at least have a place to go to, and also have, knowing that there's somebody within this area that I can always connect with if I need to come here for anything. So when you now handle the zip codes through billboards, and also handle it through like Pinterest, because I don't think any platforms use it for advertising, but Pinterest, I would say they do it the best. If they're not the only ones, then they probably do one of the best ways. Because with those zip codes, you're able to literally target those areas. And then if you have a budget for running ads, instead of like this $10, for example, I would say within like a $300 budget, if you already know, if you've actually, let me say this, let me ask you this before I say this. How long have you been running the ads consecutively?
This is what, about to be October, so maybe because we switched it up. They keep switching. So like I'm gonna say maybe June. Um yeah, probably since June.
Okay, so that's about 4 months now. So with these 4 months, you should have some type of data on your analytics. If you haven't checked, it will be there, and you'll definitely get to see where you're spending more, where you're spending less, where you're gaining more, where you're gaining less, and then you're able to factor in the next things. And by looking at those things, I think also another thing to factor in is the zip codes. And I also tell people too, when you look at the zip codes of the purchases that you're getting, because whenever you get a purchase receipt, you have a zip code, especially if you're shipping. So if you have a zip code, and you know that zip code, you also do an analysis and see, okay, which zip codes am I actually getting the most sales from? Why am I getting the most sales from these zip codes? Then in those zip codes, we now retarget, go back to those zip codes that are the top, because you already have that information. And then we can now target them back and then use a radius to compare. And then if we're able to use like this AI, with Pinterest now, especially for hair, imagine using AI generated images as backgrounds for your hair products. And then those AI images by Pinterest actually now do the work for you instead of you editing your images. Because I know you said something about you editing your images. So now it changes the game because it gives you back your time.
Okay, wow. I definitely have to connect with you because I have this hair oil that I sell, and I sell it on Marketplace, Walmart Marketplace. And I get a lot of sales online for this oil as well. And I'm looking to push it to make it uh I don't know the word, but I want to blow up in 2025 on this hair oil.
Oh yeah, it's definitely possible. What if you look at the hair oil, is it posted on your website right now, or is it just on? the other stores?
Yep, it's on my Shopify website, and I also sell on the Walmart marketplace. But the thing is, people buy it, but they don't leave the reviews on the marketplace. But yeah, it's on my website.
Okay. I think with the reviews, there's something that I noticed with reviews. There has to be some type of, I won't say incentive, but like a reward system that allows them to feel comfortable leaving a review, because it's hard to get a review in the first place. But when you get a review, it's a huge thing. Like hotels, restaurants, not airports, maybe, but just places that people frequent. Those reviews are very important because that either is going to make or break the experience.
Yeah, so like on my Google My Business, I have like maybe 50, maybe 55 reviews. Like, and that's just on my hair business. But I'll like give Amazon gift cards as an incentive to some people to leave me a review.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think definitely building, like especially for your hair oil, that could be a really good, platform we can use to get you on top of those markets. And it's possible your website could literally be on top of Amazon for hair oil. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen before. So it's just to know exactly, okay, how we placing this out there and how we building it. Because when I think about SEO, it's a brain. SEO is technically a brain. So the more you're able to feed into the brain, the more the brain has capacity to grow. So if we can feed the brain with information that we provide, that means the URLs are also very, inclined to the study, to the model, to the formula, then that also increases the ability to get more, more sales, more conversions. And then using zip code marketing, like we said earlier, to now incorporate with AI. And, Pinterest now does the work for you. You don't have to really, do the writing. I mean, you can, but when it comes to the product itself, when it comes to targeting, now it becomes a whole different thing. So yeah, definitely love to connect with you on that, Nikki. I'm gonna put my link at the top. I'll change it up so that, if you want to get on a call, please let me know and we'd love to, connect with you further. Because I've been seeing you in the rooms, I think for probably a year or two now. So, and we've never had a chance to even talk. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, one time I did try to connect with you, and I think I sent a message through Popple, but I didn't hear anything back because I use Popple too.
You use it on Popple? Wait a minute.
Yeah,
When?
it probably was a year ago because it was before I had back surgery, so it was definitely before I sent you a message. I know one day I think I tried
Oh,
to connect with you, but I was having my back pain. So, but I definitely sent you a message through Popple because, like I said, I use
oh.
Popple as well, and I wanted to connect with you about the marketing stuff.
I see it. I think the reason why, okay, now I see it because the number was not there. So I didn't see your number. That's why. Okay. Because normally when someone leaves it, it just like it has a blank message. So now I'm seeing the note, but I didn't see a number attached to it. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But definitely what I'll do now is actually since you're already on Popple, let me just do it right here. Let me know if you got that because it's already within the system.
Yep, I just got a notification, so let me open it. Yep, it said you guys connected.
Okay, perfect. All right. So after this, I'll give you a call.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
Mhm.
Thank you, Nikki. I'm glad you're doing Pinterest. That's good. That's really good because people sleep on Pinterest. John does Pinterest. Good morning, John. How are you?
I'm good, and I just checked my Pinterest stats, and I don't do paid advertising on there. I will in the future, but organic, and this is something we've talked about quite often. If you have a Pinterest business page, you can set it up to automatically ingest all of your Instagram content. And what the payoff for me has been, I'll look at this past month, there's 247,000 plus impressions on, or visits to my page or views on my page. Impressions, whatever terminology you want to use. And I had created zero time doing it. So that's a lot of reach for something that I put zero effort into. If you haven't done that, Your Facebook post you can set up to automatically be connected to your Instagram post, and if you have a Pinterest business account page, which is free, you can automatically set up to ingest all your Instagram content, and you get the benefit of three locations, one post. And for me, it's been a win-win.
I love that. Have you used the split by section under the performance over
I've
time?
done nothing with that. I'm so focused on Facebook as a primary mover and shaker uh, that I just do the bare minimum with that, and it works for me.
Okay, okay. What about you, Nikki? You say you have yours connected.
Yep, I have mine connected. My Instagrams is dead. I'm trying to like work on it. I don't know. I post on there, but I'm starting to engage with other people and people and like fashion and beauty. So I'll see how it goes. But my Instagram has been dead. But I do post because I have like a wig maker, so I'm like pushing a lot of wigs and stuff now for the holidays. So yeah, I do have mine connected to my Pinterest. Let me see how many views I have.
Okay, awesome. Let me know. And D, yes, definitely. I believe I sent you an email. Please let me know if you didn't get it. Please let me know. I sent you an email for Pinterest. Yeah, I did September 4th. Please let me know if you got that email. I'm actually looking at my contact right now if you have it, because yes, we'd definitely love to have that Pinterest on, because I know you talked about it before. So please let me know if you didn't get that email. I'll resend it, and we'll get that Pinterest going for sure. Yes, go ahead, Nick.
I'm at 1.6 million monthly views and I have like 917 followers.
That's what's up. This is for you, John, and this is for you, Nikki. That's huge. That's, think about that, because you're using, it's either two things. It's either, and I love that both of you have on both spectrums to show that it works, right? Because John has that on organic impressions, and then Nikki, you have that on paid impressions, and it's also a mixture of organic too. So when you're using Pinterest to build connections, your connections are coming to you based on why you're showing up, and also you're thinking about the engaged audience. So when you look at the overall performance, because you talked about the impressions, right? If you look at the overall impressions, you'll see that there's impressions, there's engagements, there's outbound clicks, there's saves, there's total audience, and then there's engaged audience. The last two are the most important factors because we're looking at TAM, SAM, and SOM. TAM, which is the total addressable market, SAM, which is the serviceable addressable market, and SOM, which is the service obtainable market. So the total audience is the TAM, right? If you actually, let me put it this way, total addressable market is impressions, right? Because that's everybody. Then the total audience is your SAM. So your SAM is the service audience that you're serving. So if you have 1 million impressions, then there should be a number of the total audience of those impressions. And then out of those total audiences is SOM, which is service obtainable market, which is your engaged audience. So if you now do the percentage of your engaged audience over your impressions, your total impressions, it tells you how much you're technically, making when it comes to currency online, when it comes to the social media value score. So those are some things to also pay attention to as well. Have you ever looked into that as well, John or Nikki? Just maybe like a landscape.
I'm looking
I've
into
looked
it
into,
now.
oh, I'm sorry. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Nikki, you first.
Oh, thank you. I've looked into it, but I don't understand it.
So I'm looking at it right now, the analytics, and my total impressions are 252,700. That's up 3.9%. Then it shows engagements. That's up. Outbound clicks is up. The only thing that's down is saves. Total audience is way up. Engaged audience is up. those things. And for, like I said before, something I put no effort into, that's a win. I'm going to start throwing some money at this, and as I learn more about the paid advertising features, I will, because it's a great way to get in front of other audience, and it has contributed to raising my numbers significantly. It's not the entire piece, the entire reason, but it's a part of it. And for something that requires no effort at all, why wouldn't I?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's just a no-brainer because it's information for tomorrow, and a decade from now you could still be getting impressions from something you posted a decade before. Nikki, did you want to say something too?
I think I was. Are you looking at the analytics overview? Is that where you got your numbers from?
Yeah, let me backtrack. So, yeah, analytics overview. If you
Okay.
scroll down, it should last 30 days is by
Yep.
default, and then as overall performance. Does that help?
Okay. So like, I got the impressions, the engagements, the outbound clicks, the saves. I got 16K saves, 912K total audience, engaged audience 60K. So is that good?
That's
Heck,
good.
yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, okay. And like I said, they reached out to me because I had high numbers before I start running ads. So that's why they asked me, did I want to start running them?
Exactly. That's how they get you on Pinterest because they wouldn't go to an account that isn't really pushing or organically because they want to use paid ads to surge the organic performance. So that makes sense. Yeah, because I also have somebody at Pinterest that I talk to, and right now, they're working on these things. That's why I'm in this beta for the Performance Plus with AI. And I'm just looking at it, I'm like, I need to bring this back here and tell you guys what's going on because I've been quiet on Pinterest. I've been talking about podcasts, SEO, but Pinterest is that like low hanging fruit that if you have your podcast in there, you have your website in there, you have your articles, your business, pretty much your whole profile, and you've claimed it, you're getting access to it, tremendously, and you're getting a lot of attention too. Like for me, I'm looking at mine and I don't run ads on mine. I just keep it organic. I'll do like maybe quick surges, but most times, like if you look at the whole year, you maybe see two surges in a period of 2 months out of a 24-month cycle or 12-month cycle. I'm looking at it last year and this year. And for me, I'm seeing my impressions as 420K impressions, and engagements is 5.06. And then there's outbound clicks, which is 1.38K, 285 saves. That's 285 people. Total audience 222K, and then engaged audience is 4K. And I'm not even running ads on this. This is just happening organically. So when I did the numbers, I did 4.32K over 420.31K times 100, and I got 1%. So that means for me to turn my impressions from an unfiltered source to a paying filtered source, my KPI and my attribution needs to convert at least 1% for me to get that engaged audience actually engaged to buy, engaged to purchase, engaged to connect. And that happens when you have articles, they find you online, you end up on Google Images, they're looking for something, they find you, boom. Like for me, I was talking about digital billboards and static billboards. I don't see articles on the web talking about that today. They're not so many. So this is like an untapped, because they're only just big vendors that, have their own websites corporately, but no one is talking about this thing on the web. So this is for me like untapped problem aware audiences that need help, and using Pinterest for zip code marketing and then using billboards for zip code marketing, you're saving so much money on advertising because you know your audience, you know where they're coming from, you know where they're going, you know how long it takes for them to drive, you know how long the episodes are, you know how long they read books, you know if they read a book a week, a book a month, you know if you listen to a podcast a week, two podcasts a month. You know those things because of the engagement you're getting. So if you're able to use Pinterest and then engage those things and then go to the split buy section, which is really important to look through. When you look at the split buy section, it tells you where mostly people are, connecting with you, especially the age range. especially the age range, because sometimes we're like, oh, who's on the web, who's out there? And if you look at the total impressions, what I came to realize, and this is like a global thing, but on Pinterest it makes the most sense. When you look at your impressions, the least number of impressions, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, John and Nikki too. The audience that the if you, let's say you go on Pinterest and then you switch it to split by, because normally it says no split. So when you click on split by, you click on age. When you click on age, it will take you down to metrics. You're going to see all your total impressions, all the age ranges from 18 all the way through 65 plus. The age range that is at the bottom of your total impression score, I'll say the last two. Yeah, the bottom two, because you have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Yeah, you have seven options. You have seven age groups. So the last two, so kick off the top five and then deal with the bottom two. The bottom two most times are the platforms that, I would say, the age ranges that interact with your content the most, or that's where you're gaining the most revenue as a business the most. We'd love to hear your thoughts on that, John, if you've seen that split by section.
I have not, and maybe you can walk me through. I'm looking at audience insights. Excuse
Oh,
me.
okay. So there's audience insights. Go to analytics overview.
Okay,
So when you hit
I'm there.
so under overview, you'll see overall performance.
Hmm.
Then if you scroll down a little further, you'll see performance over time.
Okay, maybe I went through quick. So, okay, performance over time. Got it. I'm there.
Then
And it says
then
split by.
yeah, split by, click it, and then click age.
Okay.
So when you scroll down, you'll see the metrics and you'll see the bottom two.
Yeah, here's the funny thing. So, I'm attracting a younger audience in Pinterest than I am in other platforms. So, the number one audience is 18 to 24. The number two is 25 to 34. And number three, which is distant number three, is 35 to 44. Here's where it really gets interesting. The gender, 53% of all my consumers are male and 35.6% female. That, and it's usually on that platform, it's usually the other way around. So I'm kind of impressed. I'm getting to a younger and more male dominated audience on Pinterest than I am on other platforms. So I think it's a win-win. I'm going to examine the split buy more.
Yeah, it's a game changer because it also lets you know who's really interacting with your audience. And when you look at your metrics on your podcast and you come to Pinterest, you'll also see who are the new audiences that are attributing to the overall downloads, the overall scores, the overall impressions that we're making. Because we don't know, these are just impressions. We don't know if they're men, if they're women. We don't know if they're, we don't know these things because we don't have that information. But what we can use is the data that we get from second party, platforms like Pinterest, and then use that to get more insights. Like for me, I have more of a female audience than a male audience. And it's like the difference is like really, really clear. Like it's wide. So when I see that, like for me, like female audiences, like I'm seeing 53,000 impressions in the last 90 days. For male audiences, 12,000, and then unspecified and custom is 4,000. So just looking at that alone is like, oh, okay, those are more people that are, connecting with me at a larger scale. And then when you scroll down even further, John and Nikki, and also anyone that's using Pinterest, right? When you scroll down a little further, you'll see top pins. And then when you see top pins, look at the type. The type will say organic, paid, and earned, organic or paid. It will tell you those things. But if it's paid, you'll see paid and earned. You won't just see paid because you're also earning impressions after you pay, for those impressions. So it's such a beautiful platform to
Yeah.
use.
Here's the surprise. I'm looking at the pins, and um, for podcasters, I've got two types. I got quick saves, and then in podcast episodes. on there, and it shows me. But the number one thing that we'll go back to the gender in the last 30 days, 145,095 were male impressions. Female were 64,545, and unspecified was 14,000 and change. So it's a way to impact and get in front of our audience, and improve on it. I got to tell you, this is pretty eye opening, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it is. It changes everything because your topics, your conversations, your colors, you start thinking about even colors because colors also, get you to that point where you connect to people even further. So, for anyone in real estate and food, in music and podcasts, entertainment, finance, travel, clothes, it's a place for everyone because people say that, oh, Pinterest is just for this type of people. But actually, let me actually share some news with you. I just saw this on the web. Let me put this in the chat. That's why we're getting a lot of 18-year-olds now, um, or we can say Gen Zs. I just put the link in the chat. You can read that's from Yahoo Finance. And the Pinterest CEO says that the platform uses AI to generate positivity because Pinterest is already a positive platform. So imagine using AI for positive things. That's Pinterest's, factor. And I said it earlier, Pinterest, if you take off the P, it's interest. So it's about interesting thing. When something is interesting, you're happy about the interesting thing you've heard, right? It's interesting. It has a positive connotation unless otherwise. But most times, more often than not, you get connected to Pinterest and that gives you positivity. Even during the pandemic, if they didn't anybody that tried to run ads about COVID or masks, if you're selling stuff, they're not going to accept your ad because everything on Pinterest is positive. Like it's like you're going into La La Land. You're going into like utopia. It's like a place where you just want to feel great, right? They have a creator code, so you can go on Pinterest and just do that. And then if you're on Pinterest and you are a merchant, right? There are two types of badges. There's a red badge and a blue badge, right? A red badge means you're a verified creator, and a blue badge means you are a verified merchant. So if you're creating content and you're using AI, generating positivity, running it with performance plus campaigns, and also using it for the good, then you're going to connect to more people automatically, really automatically. And this is like a whole new thing that is actually changing. And they said that Pinterest is where Gen Zs go to shop. So if Gen Z is the future, right? How are we impacting the future with what we do now? Yeah, they're Gen Z, but tomorrow they're going to be millennials and they're going to be baby boomers. They're going to be like, they're not going to be in those categories, but they're going to grow up, right? They're going to learn new things, right? They're going to experience new things. So if you're training them early, introducing them to your product early, connecting with you early when they're in school, when they're growing up, when they're talking to their friends, when they're talking to their parents, you're in that conversation. You're being talked about on that dinner table because you had something on Pinterest or you had a podcast or you had something that was a brand that was really connecting with them that really gave that attention through. So I won't sleep on Pinterest at all because there's a reason why the deal didn't go through with PayPal because PayPal was trying to do a business deal with Pinterest. This was last year, and that deal did not go through. And when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I'm glad Pinterest didn't because Pinterest is so special. Like, it's a platform that if Pinterest is not active today, Google Images might suffer. That's a fact. Yeah, you can be on Google Images, but Google Images picks up domain authority from Pinterest, from YouTube, right? Because Google owns YouTube. That's why you're thinking about Google News, Google Images, Google, weather, right? Google Flights. Google Perspectives, right? Those tools you see at the top of Google when you're searching, those are products, those are verticals. So the same thing applies to Pinterest too. So when you have your images plugged in, then those images show up on the web. So when someone types your name, types your business, types your brand, types your product, types your service, types something, Then if you're on Google because you have a website, you're on Pinterest because you have a claimed account, and you're on YouTube potentially because you have a channel there or you have a podcast that has a channel connected to your business, then that's a win-win-win. That's a triple threat because you're on the top three servers in the world that have top market share and top market brand value. So if you're within those your capacities, then it's only a matter of time that people connect with you, right? When people save your product, that's because they want to connect with you. I remember somebody connecting with me, and she signed up for. I was doing a workshop last year, no, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I did a workshop. I was promoting it on Pinterest, and she found my article through a reader's guide. So she booked a call with me, and I always like to ask, how did you find? Because if I don't see you or talk to you, I may not know how you connected with me. So I always ask because that information is so important to me. So I asked her, how did you find me? She's like, oh, I found you through Pinterest and you were talking about something to do with, just creating your account with Pinterest and SEO. And I was interested in that. And she makes, family cookies. She has a family business and she's in Canada. So I was like, you're in Canada, you have a family business, you sell cookies, and you found me on Pinterest. Where else would that connection have happened if not for Pinterest and if not for intentionality? So when you show up on Pinterest, you spend less time online because your time that you spend or the time that you spent online is being compounded in value because you're earning impressions, right? We talk about paid media, earned media, paid impressions, organic impressions. There's also paid ads and earned ads. Imagine earning ads, it's like royalty fees. You're being paid after the fact, you're being paid after showing up. If you run an ad on Instagram, on TikTok, or LinkedIn, or X, as soon as the ad is done running, that's it. There's no earning. You're not earning anything after that. There are no bonuses. But with Pinterest, you're earning. Why? Because somebody saved your pin. And because somebody saved your pin, the visual platform allows them to connect with you further. So how do you earn impressions? Because someone can say, okay, you can do the same thing on Instagram. I can save your post as an ad. What does that mean? This is what it means. Because I saved your pin when I saw it as an ad, it means that I'm opening up to your world. It's like a Pandora's box. So that means if I'm engaging with your ad and you've been organically posting on Pinterest, then if I come back to Pinterest tomorrow, I'm going to start seeing your pins on my timeline outside the ad that I saw yesterday. But now I can see pins that actually have your branded connections to that ad that I saw. So you're earning impressions because for every board that you're looking at, for every pin you're looking at, that's an impression count. So you're earning impressions on top of the paid impressions that you gave initially because you showed up at the position or at the target or the zip code that people need you the most. If you show up in a sub region or in a district or within a zip code area, and those people are used to going to this CVS or this Trader Joe's or this, Walmart or this Target, and you're focusing on those things, even better. If you have a company and, like, for example, Nikki with hair, if people are coming to, let's say, a conference and they don't have time to do their hair before they leave, I'm sure they will. But let's say some, like you were saying, people come last minute. So you can have like a last minute, you know, sample where people can say, hey, last minute orders. If you need this for the weekend, 48 hours, click here, sign up, connect with us. We'll get you through. And then if they have a commercial or have some type of event, then within that commercial address where the event is holding, you look at the zip code. And then that zip code, you now figure out, okay, why is it this area? And if people are driving to that area, then you're pretty much creating an ecosystem that allows people to connect with your brand over the weekend. And you can't just do it on the day of because the algorithm also needs to understand. That's why they always give 48 hours to 72 hours of some grace. So if you have something happening on a Saturday, start early so that by Tuesday, Wednesday, you're reading the system, and people who are flying in from Thursday can start attracting those signals to you. So there are ways we can definitely go about that, but this is definitely a room that I'm happy we're able to talk about Pinterest. Nikki or John, any thoughts, any suggestions, any questions?
Not that I can think of at the moment, but I definitely want to learn more about Pinterest. So, like I said, I want to connect with you on that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Definitely connect with you too as well. John, would like to say anything before we go?
Yeah, there's so much more for me to learn about Pinterest, and it's on my radar. I'm using it, but I'm not using it full potential. I got to learn more. It's a question about time management, and one of the things that I tell people is look at your analytics on social media. Look at what's working and do more of that, and do less of what does not work. And quite often, and as this goes contrary to what a lot of people say, I did a thing on Facebook as my wheelhouse, but Daily Mail, who Julie knows, she's down in the listening lounge, has 22 million followers. 22 million followers and 16.3 million likes. They make about $198 million a year. And there's zero videos of them, and there's zero long worded posts. Everything they do is about getting attention to consumer. The more you make it about you, the less successful you'll be. The more you make it about attracting a consumer, the more successful you'll be. The choice is yours, and you'll find that looking at your insights and analytics. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you so much. Yes, analytics is definitely the way to go. If you can achieve those things early and start now and connect, make sure that you're showing up on those platforms is definitely something that you can do. And once you start seeing the connections on how Pinterest can work for you, the better. And start using them for ads. I would say, even if you don't want to spend money on ads, try do it $1 a day. Literally, put $365 aside and say $1 a day. You know how they say $1 a day keeps something away, or whatever they say keeps something else away. If you do $1 a day,
I think that's Apple's favor, but that's
out
good. I'm following you.
it's apples. That's the word I was. An apple a day keeps the
Apple
doctor
dollar, it's the
away.
same thing, brother.
That is true. Apples. That's facts. I was like, this. There's a saying. Yes. Thank you, John. Yeah. If you use $1 a day on Pinterest, and you're using it to your specific audience. Specific. I don't mean trying to figure out who's using an iPhone, who's using Android. Like, you'd know that information to the T, right? Then you start to connect with people in those audiences who are ready to give back information to you. And how you're going to know that they're actually receiving it is because you're showing up with information that they can read, right? And great things when you think about articles, you have to think about commercial articles, like comparison articles, and things that have branded keywords in them. Because if somebody's searching for something on the web, the only thing that's going to, you think about a spider web, what's going to connect the web to the center is the line, whatever the web was connected to that created that connection. So if the connection is your website, and your website has a web page, and that web page has a URL, and that URL has a keyword that the people that search for your business use on a frequent basis, eventually they're going to find you on Google, on Pinterest, on YouTube. It's just a matter of time. Sometimes we don't know how long it can be, because there's this myth saying that, oh, with SEO, it takes 6 to 12 months. Those days are gone. With AI, it can take days to weeks, but those weeks can come after you get to know exactly who you're talking to. Because in the first month, like let's say we have a 3 to 6 month cycle, in the first and the second month, it's pretty much scraping, 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 especially if it's new. Because the more you're able to scrape information, the more you're able to know what are people showing up based on impressions. Because impressions is just, I'm impressed by, okay, you can cook, you can boil eggs, okay, I'm impressed, right? That's an impression, but that impression does not lead to an action. I can be impressed, oh, that's a nice shoe, or what material is it? Okay, do you have a bundle? Do you have colors? Okay, let me get this for my family. And then before you know it, boom, you've gotten the 3 pairs, 4 pairs, because the intention was, I'm impressed, but that impression led to an action. So If you want to lead people to actions, you got to compare yourself to others. That's why people say, oh, what makes your brand different from other brands? That question is a commercial question. It's not an informational question because we already know your brand. We know what you do. Now, what makes you stand out? That's the difference. And that's where commercial, you know, advantages come in. How are you competitively advantageous? How are you comparatively advantageous? So creating those sequences and then using AI with Pinterest now is just going to be a whole game changer for you. Julie, welcome back. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the topic.
I am just listening. I love Pinterest, and I love. I never thought of pin and interest, but I'm like, oh, that makes really a lot of sense. But I wanted to say, even if you are thinking about doing Google ads or any sort of advertising, just try out Pinterest because you can do it at such a low price point, meaning like $1 or $2 a day for a week. Just see what happens. It's not a huge investment, but you'll see some clicks on your website. I guarantee it. Thank you.
100%. You're welcome, Julie. Thank you for sharing. It's so true. It's so true. Like, because you're using that pretty much, it's like you put it into a slot machine, right? You put into something in a slot machine, you get something out. So with Pinterest, you're putting that dollar in to get data back. So the more you're able to know, okay, these are the areas that are getting more impressions, more CPMs, more cost per average, cost per result, cost per click, cost per lead, cost per acquisition. You do your whole logistics, and then you come up with a decision like, okay, I've spent $30 in 30 days. Now I know exactly who I'm talking to. And then boom, it takes that off. And like Julie said, it's such a place that you can really spend so little and get so much back because it's a search engine. It's a search engine. It's not an API or a Google, or I would call it Google, like mostly like Facebook or Instagram. It's not a social media platform. That's great because that's where community lives, but search is where information lives, right? So you bring that information to society. Well, information is on the web, bring it to society on a social platform. That's why it's social media. Social is not social without people, right? So when there's a social gathering, or a social event, it involves people, and people come to get informed about things. So it's really important to look at that. Last month, Apple went crazy with Apple ads. Apple went crazy with Apple ads on Pinterest because they were using Pinterest as a driver. I'm sure they're still using it now up until the holidays, but I'm sure their budget was probably the highest in in September, so that they can spend less more. Sorry, they can spend. Yeah, I said it right. They can spend less more down the months, because the more months they're spending, the less they're spending, because they already have information. They're like, okay, let's target the whole U.S. Okay, out of this 50 states, which ones had the best? Okay, let's do the top 25. Then from top 25 to top 10, from top 10 to top 5, and then top 5 to top 3. Then you keep going like that, and then it starts spilling into other regions because you've already connected with these people. If I've made an impact, if a if an explosion happens and it goes to the next place, it's made an impact. So that impact leaves something, right? So if you're leaving impact and you're running ads, but you're not running ads there anymore, if anybody saved your pin in that location, if anybody clicked on it in that location, that is attributing to the overall value of your pin. So using Pinterest as a way to understand data is a game changer as well. So definitely use Pinterest by all means. If you have a podcast, if you have a book, if you have a website, just connect Pinterest and you'll be so happy you did, because it will also change how you show up online beyond social media, because you're using a visual search engine as well. So this was a great room. Thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks for being here. Nikki, John, Julie, D, please let me know if you got the message, and I'll also give you a call too, so that we can make sure that you're good. Zira or Zaire, I hope I said it correctly. Thanks for being here. Alasan and A, please join us in the marketing club. We have rooms here I would say on a daily basis, on a frequent basis, more frequent than not, so that you can be here and be part of the conversation. So until then, I'll see you guys soon and have a wonderful hump day. See you guys. Bye, everybody. Yay, D. That's great.